Okay, in Unit 6, Part 2 video, we're going to talk about how the Greeks and Romans' ideas were kept alive by the Byzantine Empire, and then they spread them to Russia. We'll also talk about several key Russian rulers and how they were influenced by the Byzantine Empire. Okay, that's video 2, and that's it for this unit, so make sure that you've kept up with your notes in your journal. This was a short unit.
Shut up! Okay, the SOL for this particular video, it deals with Byzantine art and architecture preserving Greek and Roman traditions and the influence they had because of trade on Russia and Eastern Europe. Okay, so what about the achievements in art and architecture? Keep in mind that most of the artwork and the architecture was inspired by the Christian religion and the power of the empire. Icons, religious images became very, very popular. One of the most popular forms of artwork was called the mosaic. And of course a mosaic is where you use tiny pieces of glass or rock to create a picture. And I'll show you an example of that in a little bit. The most famous example of architecture is the famous church called the Hagia Sophia. It started out as obviously an Orthodox church. Later it will become a mosque. Today I believe it is a museum. And it is famous for how big it had of a dome and the minarets on the outside of it. It will influence art all throughout Eastern Europe. As you can see here, the domes and the artwork in this architectural structure are amazing. By the way, Hagia Sophia means holy wisdom. Okay, so one of the big things is that not only does the art and architecture of the Greeks and Romans survive, but so does the languages. The Greek language is very, very popular in this part of the world, and I'm opening up other screens and all kinds of other stuff. Okay, as contrasted with Latin in the West. Here's the Latin. So you have Greek on the top, Latin on the bottom. Greek Orthodox Christianity and the Greek Roman knowledge is preserved in Byzantine libraries. So Christianity, the Greek language, and Greek and Roman ideas and laws and architecture are all survived by the Byzantine Empire. Uh-oh. There's that librarian. You got to watch her, even in the Byzantine. Okay, so on your notes, right down here at the bottom, I want you to talk about and compare the Byzantine art and architecture to the Greeks and Romans. Okay, so the last thing we have to talk about is Russia. Trade routes between the Black Sea and the Baltic Sea led to Russia and Eastern Europe being heavily influenced by the Byzantine Empire. They adopt Orthodox Christianity, and they will adopt a form of the Greek alphabet that will become the Cyrillic alphabet and lead to the Slavic languages, which will allow them to read the Bible and convert the Bible. Remember, Saint Cyril and Methodius are the ones who do that. The church and architecture of Russia and Eastern Europe is heavily influenced by the Byzantine church's architecture and art. Okay, so in this box, what I would like for you to do is to create a theory as to why the Byzantine Empire had such a big influence on Russia and the Slavic region, and that'll be right here on your notes. Alright, so I'm going to talk to you about some of the important Russian leaders really quickly. And first off, the Slavic people, the Slavs, who we don't know exactly their origins, but we know they started around the area that we call Yugoslavia today, in the eastern part of Europe. These Slavic people form an area that they call Rush, and they will become known as Russians. And one of the things they're really scared of is Vikings, because the Vikings were pretty fierce invaders. So they come up with this really cool idea. They find the toughest Viking around, a guy named Rurik, and invite him to be their leader. And what's really cool is this idea works. And Rurik establishes a line of rulers that are going to be known as Grand Princes. And eventually what happens is they change from the Viking pagan religion to Christianity. The first royal family member to adopt Christianity is Princess Olga, and then her grandson Vladimir will make it the official religion of Russia. Now what I want you to understand is it wasn't exactly him doing this for pure reasons. He fell in love on a trip to Constantinople with a Byzantine princess And the king, basically the emperor of the Byzantine Empire, said, hey, you can't marry my daughter because you're not Christian and your country's not Christian. And he says, well, yeah, we are. We're Christian. We're Orthodox Christians, just like you. And so he goes back to Russia and he says, people, you are now Christians. And they all say, no, we do this, that. And he goes, no, you don't understand. If you don't turn to Christianity, I'm going to kill you. So, they all became Christians. Or at least that's the theory, I guess. So it was all done in love, though, of course. Another important leader was a grand prince named Yaroslav the Wise. He built churches based on Byzantine churches and used their concept of the arch and the dome and used the minarets from the Hagia Sophia. And he introduced the first law code, which was called the Pravda Ruskia. It was based on some of the ideas found in Justinian's code, so this helped keep alive some of the ideas of Roman law. Also, there was a ruler named Ivan the Terrible. Now, Ivan did many different things. He had been abused as a child and not treated very well by the nobles, so when he came to power, he sort of created a campaign of terror against Russian nobles to get revenge. Ivan was a huge man, probably over 7 feet tall, and definitely a very powerful ruler. One of the reasons he's significant to us is he's the first ruler of Moscow to call himself a czar. And czar comes from the word Caesar. So again, there's the Roman influence. And the idea that Russia could be the third Rome. Byzantine being the second Rome, and then Rome being the first Rome. So Russia would be the third Rome. Now there are other rulers who are going to have this same idea of the third coming of the Roman Empire. And we'll talk more about those in class. One of the things I want you to know is that Ivan had his own secret police, which were called the Operniki. And he sort of went insane after his wife died. Supposedly, he killed his own son in an argument, and there's some really cool stories about how he did that. Probably the most likely is that he hit him across the head with a scepter. Another funny story is the way that he died. He was playing chess with someone, and the guy made a move which caused Ivan to lose, and he got so upset that he had a stroke, and he died from it. So death by chess, you don't hear that very often, do you? Okay, so on your notes, what I want you to do is find some ways that the Byzantine Empire and Russia kept the ideas of the Greeks and Romans alive. And on the box on the left, you're going to put, why they did that. And then on the box on the right, create a theory as to why it's so important that they kept these ideas alive. Right here.